What? What? Hello friends, welcome back to the vlog. So remember how last week I said that, oh, I gained a couple pounds, in my weight loss journey because I was too busy trying to make memories instead of getting all my steps in. So that was that. So here we are. Now, thankfully, during this week that you're going to see, things kind of got back on track until they didn't, because it's been going up and down, but that's besides the point. And so during this week, my mom and I went down to the part of Oklahoma that she used to live in. So if you saw my vlog from when I went to Oklahoma for the very first time, like 5 years ago, then this is that part of Oklahoma. And she has a friend who still lives down there, and she has a really nice plot of land. Her husband inherited it, and so they have horses. And it was funny because I was like, oh, well, I just rode horses last week, so I want to ride you guys' horses. And they were like, they're pretty much just yard decoration. They don't really know how to be ridden. They don't really do anything. They just kind of stand out there all day and graze. I was just like, what? But they had them there, and they had a pool, and she cooked for us, and she's a very slim lady. So I was like, okay, I'm among friends right now. She's gonna get me right. Except she made this really awesome cake, and I couldn't stop eating it, and I was like, oh man, like this is not what I need right now. But self-control and determination won the day, because by the end of this week I was still doing well. But we were there hanging out, and the first night that we were there, of course, I was talking all about how, oh, I'm this new step girly, I get steps every day, just telling everybody about how active of a person I am now. It's my whole personality, being active outside. And so when I told my mom's friend, she was like, oh, okay, well, I know a really great spot where we can go and have a walk. Now, she had never done this entire trail before, but she had just heard about how great it was. And so we get there, and it's a great trail, really pretty. It's by the water, nice and wide. There's people using bikes and walking, and it was great. Except for the fact that it was 3 miles, and we had no idea, and we're just walking and walking and walking and walking, and then it gets pitch black outside, and we're like, how much longer is this going to be? How much more do we have? And then, if that wasn't bad enough, the sidewalk ends. It just stops being paved, and we're like, now what do we do? We have to turn around. And we could kind of see, because we all had our flashlights on at that point, like on our phone. And so we were like, I think that's where we started. I think if we just continue on the gravel, we should be able to get back where we were. Like, there's no way that we have to turn around. Because it's like, usually if you go on a trail, like if you go on an actual hiking trail like this was, they have markers on the ground that say, oh, you've walked a half mile, a mile and a half. And then it'll even tell you sometimes how much further you have to go. This had none of that. And by the time we got to this part where the sidewalk ended, it was dark. And so we're like, well, does it say anything? Like, are there any signs? And we were looking around like, no, there's no sign. It doesn't tell you whether or not you're just right over where your cars are or not. And so we just decided, you know what? We know how to get back because, we just retrace our steps. But let's just keep going. It's already dark. We're already confused. Why not? What the heck? And thankfully, we were right. Just past just a few more, like 100 yards, and then our car was there. We were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I was like, this is really a Jen-ism, because this is exactly the kind of thing that I would do. But thankfully it was my mom's friend, because it was her idea to go to this trail, because I would have just walked around their property, but they were worried that I would get like a tick or something because I didn't have any long boots with me while we were going down there. But yeah, so that was that first night. And then the next day, we met up with some of my mom's other friends, a lady that I don't think they worked together. I think they used to go to church together. A couple of friends that she used to go to church with. And one of them, she actually had a tremendous weight loss journey and was down over 100 pounds, that she had told me, because I hadn't seen her since the first time I had been there. So in 5 years, she had lost, I think she said like 160 pounds, and she looked phenomenal. And I was like, girl, I'm trying to get like you. Like, how many steps do you take in a day? Like, I just love, like, I feel like once you really change your mind to being a certain way, like, now that I'm like trying to get skinny, I see everything as a skinny nail. Now that I'm a skinny hammer, I see everything as a skinny nail. And so it's like, oh man, like I mean, I feel like I would have noticed it before because it was so dramatic, but it was just the fact that like, oh wow, like what are you doing? Like, how are you eating? And I saw how she was eating, small portions, keeping it very lean, heavy on the protein, heavy on the fat, and then, no carbs. So I was like, oh yeah, like she's doing it right, doing like cardio classes. So I was just so encouraged by her, and it was just like, yeah, like this is so cool. I just love to see people bettering themselves, At the end of the day, no matter what area, just to see people improving themselves and moving forward is just so beautiful to see. And then after we had lunch with them, we went and did a little bit of shopping. I got some more hair stuff. And so remember how last week I told you guys that I found some Olaplex at like a random like Marshall/TJ Maxx type store? I got some more Olaplex stuff, but I got this one from Ulta. And because I'm trying to work on different ways of styling my hair, because once again, this new lifestyle, because if you're going to have sustainable weight loss, it has to be a lifestyle change, not just oh, I'm going to do this crash diet for the next 3 weeks and, drop all this weight and then pick it back up again. So now that my whole lifestyle has been overhauled, I sweat a lot more than I used to because I'm exercising a lot more than I ever did. And it's really hot outside. And so getting these really small, intricate twists or braids, these really time-consuming things that I can't do myself, these are no longer feasible, okay? Because I'm not going to sit in a chair for 4 hours to get my hair braided when I now wash my hair every week, okay? Before I wasn't washing my hair every week because I had this foolish mindset that if I don't wash my hair, then it's going to grow. But it's not that not washing your hair helps it grow. It's the fact that you're not manipulating your hair all the time, which is what your hair wants. Your hair kind of wants to be left alone and not just picked and pulled and, brushed and all that every day. So I just try to wash it, condition it, deep condition, style it once a week, and just kind of leave it be and let it do its thing. And I've seen a lot more stuff saying that that's better. Now, believe it or not, I actually went to beauty school, and so I should have known that already, but I just completely toned out all of the hair information because I was just there to do nails, because in a past life, I used to be a nail tech. And so when I watched this information about like, oh, you need to be washing your hair, at least once a week, like twice a week, depending on how active you are. Like I probably get away with twice a week by how active I am now. I was just like, yeah, like this is better. This is probably going to serve me a lot better. So I have it in a French braid right now, just like one down the middle, because you also don't want to wear your hair in the same style all the time because it can cause a breakage and weakening at the part. And so I used to always wear my hair like split down the middle in these like 2 side braids, like I'm sure you've seen me wear before because I wear them all the time. I used to. And so now I'm doing the exact opposite, which is all of my hair pulled to the middle and then one braid down the center. And I have a couple other styles that I want to try out that seem really, really simple that I don't mind undoing and redoing once a week. So this will also be a new thing that you guys are going to be seeing me come up with. So it's just a whole new gen. Like when I titled that video, The Dawn of a New Gen, I wasn't just talking about the dawn of a skinny gen. I was talking about the whole new, all things are passed away, behold, all things are made new. And once we got back to the house after lunch and shopping, I decided to try out my mom's friend's treadmill because I don't usually get on treadmills because I don't really enjoy that style of walking. Like I like to see things when I'm walking and I like to feel a different terrain. And so I find that treadmills are hard and like I just don't enjoy that way. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, well, it's not always going to be convenient for me to walk outside. It's not always going to be good weather for me to be walking outside. And I don't want to come up with excuses for why I can't get my steps in. So I'm like, well, maybe I do want to get a walking pad or a treadmill. I'm sure, there's like buy one, get one free on Fitbit Marketplace or something like that. So I was like trying that out again. And I was like, yeah, I guess it'll be okay. And I had heard that if you put the elevation up, then that'll help you burn more calories. So I was seeing if I could handle the elevation all the way up. And thankfully that one didn't go very high. So I was able to push it all the way up and it worked out great. So we'll see if that is in the future, but I'm not really sure. And that night, my mom's friend, she wanted to show me two Airbnbs that they have. and just kind of show me around and show me like how they look and the area. And there were also some buffalo that we could have seen, but for some reason they weren't out and about, so we didn't get to see them. But when we were on the way to go for her to show me the Airbnbs, she stopped and got gas, and she saw someone that she knew while she was pumping the gas. And then so I guess they were talking or whatever, and then she gets back in the car and she drives off with the gas pump still in the car. And I'd only ever seen that on TV, and I didn't realize this until afterwards, because she gets in the car and then all of a sudden we pull off and it sounds like we like run over something, and she was like, like that was a weird bump. And then all of a sudden, like I guess she sees it in her rear view or something, and then she's like, "Oh my goodness!" She was like, "This is the second time I've done that." And I'm like, "The second time you?" It was just so cute. Like, she's just such a cute little old lady, and it's just like, out of all the things that I've done, and I've done a lot of silly things behind the wheel, but that thankfully has not been one of them. But of course, now I'm gonna do it because I've made fun of her about it, and it's inevitable now because I'm thinking about it. It's something that I actually know is a possibility. So I'm sure it's going to happen like before the year is out. And so that was Monday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday was our last day there. And that morning we get up and they show us this little like mother-in-law suite or like tiny house that they have on their property, where underneath is a cellar like for tornadoes and hurricanes, because Oklahoma is in Tornado Alley. And then the top is like another Airbnb style place where it has like a bed, bathroom, kind of living room area, breakfast nook. And it was just so cute. And I'm like, man, this is the dream. Like, people want to talk about, oh, I want to go yachting, or I want to go to the Maldives, or I want to, go jet setting and have all these designer bags. And it's like, that's lame. Like, that is not the goal if you have money. The goal if you have money is to have a land and have properties and be able to just have nice quality things. Like, they have a lot of quality stuff. Like, they can have their family over and they have plenty of space in their main house, and then they have Airbnbs, and then they have this little tiny house. And it's like, she said that they were working on something else, and it's like, that is what you're supposed to be doing with your money. Okay, not blowing it on shoes and bags and makeup and hair and all that worthless junk. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, you're riching right. And then once we left her friend's house, we went down to Texas because my mom also used to live there back when I was a kid. And our goal was to go to the Dallas Zoo and go one other place. Oh, I think to Buc-ee's. And so we went to Buc-ee's. That was at the end. But we ended up not going to the Dallas Zoo because at the hotel we were staying at, one of the concierge, she was saying that the Dallas Zoo is okay, but the Fort Worth Zoo is way better. So I was like, okay, well, we only got one day here, so we want to get the most bang for our buck. And so we went to the Fort Worth Zoo instead, and she was completely right. It was incredible. They had, like, one thing, as now I consider myself an official zoo hopper because I've been to now 3 zoos. I have the Norfolk Zoo, the Portland Zoo, the Tulsa Zoo, and then the Fort Worth Zoo. So 4 zoos. So I like to consider myself, traveled in the zoo-scape, okay? I am an expert on the subject. Thank you very much. And it was great. It was very immersive, which is what you want from a zoo. You want to go to a zoo where you feel like the animals are in their natural habitat and you are walking into their place, not that it feels like a zoo. Like, it feels like there's just animals plopped down in the middle of your city. Like, that's not what you want from a zoo. You want to feel like you're where they're supposed to be. And that is what you had there. It was great. But on the way to the zoo, we saw that there was a billboard for this wax museum that we had actually been to when I was a kid. We went there on Christmas Day of, I really don't even remember, like 2011, 2012, something like that, when I was like in middle school, I think. And so when we saw that billboard, my mom, she was like, oh, do you want to go back? And I was like, yeah. Now, when I was a child, I thought as a child. And when I became an adult, I put away childish things. And I say that because even though it was fun and I enjoyed it, just to be transparent, it's not something that I would definitely say I should have done, because I just don't want there to be, any kind of conflict, like, oh, Virginia, she's not transparent, she's not really a genuine person, like she's a grifter or whatever. Like, this is something that I probably will talk about at some point, and it's something that I get on about, like, Catholics and their idol worshiping. But so I just feel like I need to be completely transparent I don't believe in graven images. I don't believe in statues. I believe that all statues should be torn down because you're not supposed to make statues of anything, anyone, for any reason, okay? Oh, I'm not worshiping it, I'm venerating it, whatever. All statues are inappropriate. They're not godly. I understand that, okay? However, I was not thinking about that when she asked me that and when we just pulled over and went to this place, okay? I was just thinking about nostalgia. I was just thinking about having fun. And so I understand that if you see this and you see something that I've said on Twitter, you're like, oh, Virginia's a hypocrite, she's contradictory, you know, all these Christians online, they're all just grifters and they're liars, okay? I just feel like I had to say that because transparency and credibility are everything. And I don't want you guys thinking that I'm out here faking the funk in real life and that I'm just up here talking just to hear my own voice online, okay? I understand that it seems like there is a contradiction. And this is my last time going to a wax museum because I have to stand on business. And I genuinely believe that all graven images are wrong, and so I'm not going to go to another one. So there's that. But that being said, I went to the wax museum and I had a ball. Okay.
Does that actually?
No, it doesn't.
I was like, who is that?
They're so weird looking. I hate them.
But look at that body. Is that really?
You're welcome. I feel like the legs look more accurate than the face does.
Yeah. Look at those arms.
I wonder how they got it to hold like that.
Right? Yeah. That's a cool point.
Yo, why'd I plan on my boy Top? Why I got him looking like that? Man, I know they are dead wrong. They are dead wrong. Cause who is that? Terrible shame. And they got Biden looking alive. This man looks more alive in this wax museum than he ever did behind the Oval Office. I'm freaking dead. Oh my gosh. Bro, he's not even nailed down to the cross. They're just tied down. Like, what? Why are they just tied down to it? They got the NIV version of the crucifixion here. Like, who is that? And why is it just the two Marys up here? And why is Pontius there? Like, what is this? Yeah, bro. I don't know who you are, but you definitely didn't die for my sins. I'm really good off that. I cannot deal. Like, who is this? Making a mockery of my savior. Bro, I'm sick. What is she doing here? Yeah, there must be. You're supposed to throw her out on December 6th. Boy. And so that was a quick little detour on our trip before we went to the zoo. And then we went to the zoo and saw all that fun stuff. I had to make sure I saw the elephants because at my home zoo we don't have elephants. We had to get rid of them because their enclosure was too small. But I feel like if you're gonna go to a zoo, you have to go see elephants. Like, that is a major factor. It's like lions, elephants, giraffes, and at this zoo you can actually feed the giraffes. And I've never seen that before. I've never been able to feed the giraffes at a zoo before. And I just knew my mom was gonna jump at that because giraffes are her favorite animal. So I was like, oh mom, like, you wanna feed them? Like, I'll pay for you to feed them. She was like, no, okay. I was like, what the heck? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I saved my little $5. So there was that. And then lastly, no trip to Texas would be complete without stopping at Buc-ee's. So I've heard of Buc-ee's, like it's, you know, a really big deal here in the South. Well, I guess like in the deep South, because Virginia doesn't have one. Well, actually we do. We just got our first one. And Virginia is a part of the South, okay? People are always trying to take away our Southern qualification. Like, we are a part of the South. Literally, the Confederacy was, like, the headquarters of it was in Richmond. So it's like, why do people think that Virginia is not the South? Anyways, so Virginia just got our first one, but it's like up in Northern Virginia, and I live in Southern Virginia, coastal Virginia. So I haven't been to that one. And Buc-ee's are great. If you don't know, they're just like a big gas station. But they sell like hot, ready-made food that's actually really good. And they have really clean bathrooms. That's like one of their claim to fames. And they pay their employees like $50 an hour. That's only a slight exaggeration. And when I was in there, I saw that they had real cow hides like for $500. It's like, what the heck? This is a gas station like you've never seen it before. Okay, folks. So if you are in Texas or near Texas and you have not been to a Buc-ee's, what the heck are you doing? You have to go. It is an experience. Okay. And I can't wait to go back. The biggest one is in Texas, of course, but we didn't go to that one. We went to just a regular one. And you would think that with knowing that they have such a really good hot bar and lots of food that they sell, that they would have a seating area, but they don't. So I was confused by that. And even though this was my first time at a Buc-ee's, this was also my mom's first time at a Buc-ee's, even though, like I said, she used to live in Texas. So I don't know. Whenever you live close to a tourist attraction, you just like never go. But yeah. And so that was that week. Of course, we ended it off with a walk. And then I think that Friday, my mom and I, we went to Red Lobster because we had to support our boy, okay, the new CEO. And we had to get some crab boils. And that was just the perfect way to cap off a week. So friends, I appreciate you guys sitting and watching this week's vlog with me. Let me know about some other things I gotta do while I'm here in Oklahoma, or some things in Texas that I gotta do, because I'm kind of close. We're only like 3 hours away from Texas, like 3-4 hours away from like Dallas or Fort Worth area, which is like the best area. Argue with your mama. So yeah. Let me know what I should do, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon.